that we consume, guess what? We're not buying things in foreign currency. So what happens? Our Kenya shillings will appreciate. When it appreciates, now we can be able to buy things that we really don't produce locally, for instance, petrol, at a lower price.
So automatically it will come down.
Automatically it comes down. Because right now the Kenya shilling, right before the election, was about 123. Right now it's hovering at about 118. That's already a 1%, close to 2% down. So what does that mean? The next time that we are going to be importing fuel, it's going to come down a small percentage.
Yeah.
So if we take our shilling back to about 80 shillings to the dollar, what will happen? The prices of gas, petrol are all going to come down because now our shilling is able to buy more. Yeah.
So we can buy more
with less.
With less. Yeah, that is in terms of if we look on those other factors. And Jacob, do you think we'll have a turnaround, and how long might it take? Because you see, people could just want, like, this happening today, tomorrow we should see results. How long for all these plans, if this budget addition, with this subsidizing, or whichever way, we have the fuel down, we have the Kenya power down. You see the units nowadays,
they have decreased.
Reason? You talk about the fuel, because of the high cost of fuel. So how long will, as an expert, do you think this is like brooding now? So how long will it take for us to realize?
You've used the right word, brooding. It's going to take a minimum to start seeing good effect, 3 months to 6 months.
6 months.
That is when we are going to start feeling the effect.
Feel it, yeah.
Yes. In the meantime, let's all tighten our belts. Let's drive less for those who have to drive. Let's plan in advance and let's save. Okay? 3 months to 6 months at minimum. After that, because there are several things that are going to be cascading. The Kenya shilling is going to be gaining value, right? Slowly. And that will have an effect on what we import at what price. Then the next thing is, I think in the next 3 months, the production of the current crop of maize will start hitting the market. That will be lowering the price of our food, right? Then thereafter, we have to start strategically thinking of the long-term plan, what has to be done. In terms of things like production and value addition, we cannot say that we are starting a factory today. Those have to be planned. The thing that the government is supposed to do is to create a conducive environment. And what will that mean? It means in terms of regulations and licensing, and second, access to capital. If you look at the government also came up with the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Corporation, right? To lower the cost of financing homes. When they come in, when the organization raised a couple of billions several months ago, right? When it's deploying those funds, what does that mean? It means people are able to buy homes at a lower price. Then the contractors who build those homes now have liquid cash to build new ones at lower cost. I hope we increase the funding to the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Corporation, right? That is one. It will increase the availability of homes, hence the construction industry will kickstart. Now, that will take a little bit of time, maybe from 9 months onwards, right? But once it starts, that is a catalyst for growth in particular areas. Because when a person buys a home, what do they buy next? They buy furniture, they buy TV sets, and they buy other things. And sometimes you want to buy a nice car to be in front of that house that you want to that you
packed well in that house.
Exactly. We all have to be seen. Then there are other sectors that we really have to look at. You see, as a country, we have a significant part of our population which is in the informal sector. The border riders, the young men and women who are shoe shiners and so on. How are we going to improve on their access to financing? Because for a border rider right now, they pay anywhere between, I think, 400 to 500, is it a day, for those who are not even purchasing, leasing the motorbike, right? On top of that, they have to deal with the county council being chased around and so on. And what do they have to do? If they are caught, they have to pay for fines and so on. We have to create a conducive environment for them and make sure they are well regulated. Some of this started with the previous government. We have to enhance and improve on that, not start new things, right? On the other hand, our expenditures have to be targeted. We cannot build roads to nowhere, railroads to nowhere, and so on. Absolutely not.
So that'll be like a long-term thing.
It's a long-term thing that can be done in the short term. For any expenditure for government, we should have it planned and approved by Parliament, not from Treasury. It should be planned and approved from Parliament, because in Parliament, that is where all of us, everyone is represented. But if it's done by the Treasury, that will be an executive order. And
so in terms of Jacob, what we touched earlier on about the Russia-Ukraine war, in terms of business and in terms of foreign policies, are we seeing probably maybe coming to an end? Because you find there is an excuse. Everything goes back to Russia, Ukraine. I met someone who's been selling me milk, and the 5 liter. Earlier on, used to sell at 500 shillings. 5 liter, the fermented milk.
Right.
Then now on the next order, it's talking about 750. I was like, "What's up?" They're like, the Ukraine was.
It's affecting.
But you get it milk locally. So you see, everyone talk about the Russia-Ukraine thing.
I think the Russia-Ukraine war had a significant impact. And more so, it came when a time when we had just come from the COVID pandemic. And production, like for instance, for oil was not up to par. By the time, right now, the war is almost coming to an end. War is funny. You can't fight forever. And the war that they have, I think it's a war of ideologies. So, and right now, Russia has felt the pinch of what it started. So it's going to come to an end. But as we talk about that, when we talk about the price of diesel to a farmer, it's not the only thing that affects that. There are
long chain.
It's a long chain. So
a ripple effect.
It has a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And we also have to look carefully, what has this war really taught us? It has told us very clearly, you can't depend food coming from a foreign country. You have to be self-sufficient. For right now, Africa itself, I mean, Ukraine is a very tiny country. It's, I think, Kenya maybe and Uganda put together, but it's feeding the whole continent. It's feeding Ethiopia, it's feeding Djibouti, Kenya, Zambia, Zimbabwe. I mean, it's a shame. And you saw the turnaround in Ethiopia. Because of that war, they've cultivated now, I think they're going to be producing 1.4 million metric tons of wheat within their country. We should be emulating that. And as a country, we should be looking at increasing the production. But anytime that we have external shocks and our food prices rise, what does that do? It also hampers our development. Yeah? Then the other thing that we haven't talked about, and overall, is also managing our debt situation. You see, most of Kenyan debt, a significant amount is in US dollars. USD. So what it means is, how do we pay our debt? We collect our taxes. How do we collect our taxes? It's in Kenya shillings, right? When we collect our taxes in Kenya shillings, then we buy dollars. Then we send them abroad. So we have to spend more dollars and so on. We should come up as a nation, and the diaspora is there. But I think the Ministry of Finance, Treasury, and the central bank have been sleeping on the wheel on tapping into the diaspora resources. The diaspora do not just want to send money for medical treatment, parties, and paying for dowry and so on. They want to contribute more. But they have to be given avenues for that. And the national government right now, it's a very easy process. They should take a Kenyan government bond specifically targeted to the diaspora, and it's floated in the United States. The registration costs less than even $100,000. And the diaspora can buy it directly there. They don't have to send money here, right? What will that do? All of a sudden, it will bring in the dollars that we need. It will lower the currency, our Kenyan currency, the shilling will gain value. That is what the Jews do, the Israelis. That's what they do. Israel does not grow because it's a great nation. It grows because of its great diaspora, period.
Oh, wow, the great diaspora. And you see, Jacob, when you look about the five tigers, you know, like when you look at Kenyan, actually the Eastern Tigers,
right?
Kenya was ahead in 80s, 90s, but you see now they have overtaken us.
Yes.
So sometimes I think policies also plays a role in terms of shaping a country, economy, and development.
It plays a very big role. If you remember, it is funny. The Koreans are some of the guys who are bidding to build the Nairobi-Mombasa highway, right? I think, if I'm not wrong, it's in 1967 or somewhere there, Kenya, I believe, lent or sent aid to Korea, right? Now, what are we getting? It has turned the other way around. Now they are the ones who are coming to aid us. What we did, the start of our republic, the early days, a lot of wealth was concentrated amongst very few individuals. So they control a lot of industry. So if you are not the son of so and so, you are not going to get anywhere, right? And because things are concentrated in particular areas, if I have that well, where will I play? In the things that I am comfortable in, and I'll try to, as much as possible, keep the wealth within the family. What does that do? It creates a chokehold.
Yeah.
And it does not release resources to areas that are needed. And that is why the bottom-up economic model really changes everything. Now, when we have all these resources go to different industries, then it becomes totally different. If you look at the growth of China, it was very intentional. Although it's centrally controlled, every province and every town was given mandates by the national government on the way they are supposed to do. And they establish particular industries in particular areas. And the national government, its role was to make sure that they create resources and conducive environments for them to thrive in. Are all the things that they did working well? Absolutely not. Some areas they created bubbles and it becomes a disaster. On other areas, they've done very well.
Yeah.
If you look at things like manufacturing, a country like Korea, a lot of people, we have Samsung and Samsung phones, they are Koreans. And we drive Hyundai vehicles. They are Koreans. And if you look at where they started, it's not because there are any difference. It's because the government did things intentionally. Right? We started with our Konza Park, but we left it hanging.
By the way, did it go? We left it somewhere.
It's the Silicon
Valley.
No, Savannah. And you know what roams in the savannah, right? The wild animals.
I just left like that. Thank you so much, Jacob. I think that is very insightful. Things are just starting up.
Exactly.
And along the way, we'll be able to focus on it, look at it, think like, is there something we need to change? Just to look at our economy, to build our economy, build Kenya, and we look forward for what we were promised during campaigns, be actualized on the ground. They never say we took our ground different.
We took our ground different.
So the politicians, the leaders, they talk big things behind campaigns. And right now, these campaigns are behind us. Now to get the things done is right now.
Absolutely. And I hope as a country, this time the opposition remains the opposition, to keep check on the government, to make sure they're doing the right thing, and the government focus on the development. And the most important thing in Kenya, I think that we should also do, is the way we communicate. The government should communicate very clearly its policies to the public, so that everyone understands clearly what the government is doing, so that the young people, we're producing close to 500,000 young people every year, they can look at those opportunities and see where they can tap in as well. It's not what, as John F. Kennedy said, it's not what the country can do for you, it's what you can do for the country. And for us, that is what we should be looking at doing right now. Yeah.
Absolutely. And as we wrap it up, Jacob, maybe our final thoughts. Yeah, going forward, and what do we need to know? What do we need to understand? you mentioned we need to tighten our belts.
Yes.
How
For the
tight?
public.
You know, they say, yeah, for the public. You know, they say when I tell you jump, yeah, how high? You know.
As the public, we need to tighten our belts. And for the executive, they also need to make sure they tighten their belts so that we are all sailing in the same boat. They shouldn't be sailing in the yacht, and for us, we are in the canoe. Absolutely not, right? We should focus on really productivity. And when we focus on productivity, we'll have more for everyone. Yeah, when your neighbor grows, you also grow.
Yes, I grow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And one of the key things that we should look at as a nation is, if I criticize you, I don't like you. And if that is the thing, if I criticize you, just be aware that I like you as well. On the other hand, the criticism should be founded on facts and principle, which are not just right, but are absolutely true. Do not cook figures along the way to make it fit a certain narrative. Absolutely not. Whichever side that you are on, it should be very clear what you're saying is for the good of the nation. If we want to grow, if we want to get close even to where the Asian tigers are, we have to be truthful and be very cautious of the next 10 years. And we have an opportunity to do that. And grow very fast.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jacob.
Thank you
really
for having me.
Good always to have you. At least we learn 1, 2, 3 things, you know, on where we are supposed to start and where we are headed to.
Absolutely.
So looking forward to seeing you again, Jacob, for such an inspiration.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
Ono da jita kala jigi tukiru tanen pituno tanne bora lige bertano tanne tai na ngala no bo ngala bottom up economic model ira tos paise itano agotos imuch kutarta itinano opportunity sana chinyoru kotos patane angne tuta tukile nyoru ngetana de bo Kass TV. We see up next tan koraga negi ngalali en pituno tanne bora.
Youth Smartphone Network netindo jepchebinda ne mibarag agi nyorchibe ne nyum asinyoru fiber sim card igugulen gityo getfiber.com inye details che google agi yapte ibun agency jok sim card ago yolemi ago registernen furahia mtandao na fiber mobile. Fiber mobile, truly Kenyan. Chamgei kabatindet. Kibwag logoywek chemyaje agoba Deland Solar Pumps chebo irrigation kobun Fine Touch Africa Limited. Deland Solar Pumps koboishe lapkeyetab asista kocher kimnatetab sitimet. Solar Pumps chutok kobitu eng sizes cheterter cheimuch kebirune beek eng ainet anan go eng borehole. Eng Fine Touch Africa Limited kora kealdei kiae installations ak ineti kabatik agoba tugukab drip irrigation, sprinklers, button drippers irrigation, rain hose irrigation, greenhouses, agricultural nets, pond liners, lawns irrigation, pipe unigobik ak fittings koboto water pumps ak alak cheterter. Eng Eldoret kenyorwech eng Nakuru Road. Kogesir ainetab Sosiani. Eng Nakuru anyone gemite industrial area, let nebo Gido Plaza. Eng Kitale gemite ole negite showground roundabout. Eng Bomet inyorwech eng Bomet Narok Road. Ngotitinye tebut anan go ngaliot agetugul ibirwe simet eng number 0700 169 962 anan irutaje eng website at Fine Touch. We make it green.
Okay, we gotta go live now. I'm tuning in to Super Sports.
Welcome all over the world. It's time for the main event. We've waited a very long time like that.
Are you ready for football's greatest season? Live on SuperSport, only on DSTV.
Messi. Oh, Messi! Mbappe! Oh, my word!
Catch every single moment of all 64 matches of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. Live on SuperSport, here for every fan. Only on DSTV.
Tree planting has become a positive habit adapted by both the young and the old. We have seen the government, private sectors, and community at large come together to support the government effort to achieve 10% forest cover.
Tuko na ile target ya kupanda bilioni 2 kabla ya mwezi wa mwaka huu wa 2022, na tulipatia target kila county, na hii county ya Elgeyo Marakwet walichukua target ya 10 million kupitia kwa Kenya Forest Service, kwa mashule na pia kwa groups kama hizi zenye tumekuja kuona leo. Na hii ni program tumeroll out kwa nchi nzima.
In various parts of Rift Valley, communities have adapted the agroforestry practice. Smallholder farmers plant a mix of tree plants, among them fruit trees, empowering themselves economically and saving the environment.
Erosion giger area in bagap jalal kuslop agu kige net wakulima pamin getik ane angololi kunyi atinge 1 acre of cypress trees atinge blue gum atinge indigenous.
Scientists have always reminded us that tree planting maintains or restores soil health, which is one of the Earth's most valuable natural resources. It plays a key role in determining agricultural productivity, environmental resilience, and ecosystem sustainability.
Look at trees that can be able to support the pollinators, the bees, for example. Without bees, we do not have food, because we all know what is the role of pollinators and the role of pollination in the ecosystem. Therefore, I would advocate, and it is what VI Agroforestry advocates for, the planting of trees, and it's not just any tree, it's agroforestry tree that will support our farming system. It improves the soil in terms of quality. The agroforestry trees that we promote have deep roots, meaning that these trees do not compete with the crops around, and they are able to go deeper and even maybe help to make the soil and to really utilize the nutrients that could have been lost through any method that we know of, maybe erosion or maybe, infiltration of nutrients into the deeper layers of the soil.
Transitioning to organic farming will be easier for those who have embraced agroforestry because soils with higher organic matter content, which is supplied by trees, reduces the need for the use of fertilizers to produce crops.
We promote simple things like mulching, composting, whereby we are utilizing the organic form of fertilizers in our farms or in the farmers' farms to be able to improve the soil quality and also to help with food production. Let's not disturb our soil so much so that we are able to retain and to help the environment to capture the carbon, the soil carbon in the ecosystem. And we also advocate for a little tilling, not so much tilling, or zero tillage.
Tree planting in the water catchment areas has seen the community in Baringo revive what was once depleted water resources, hence reducing the conflict between human and wildlife in this ecosystem.
Tulikutana na wananchi tukaona ni njia gani ambazo tunaweza fanya hii chemchemi ikwe